button. Good to go.
Do I have sound?
Yes, you have sound.
Yay. Look, it's better safe than sorry.
I pushed the buttons, they're live, we're all good.
Okay, good. Well, hello there. We're back
Hello.
doing another live because I'm not going to say something bad.
We're a bit early into the video for that one.
Yeah, I was.
Give it another minute or so.
Yeah, I know. Holding it back. But we're back. Hello. And Katie's going to introduce our lovely little podcast.
Oh yeah, that's the thing I do. Hi everyone, welcome to all the films we judged before. I'm Katie. That's Lily K. That's done. That's it for me. I'm gonna leave now.
No. Okay, bye.
I can't.
Anyway.
I can't get out of here in a way that's smooth
I know.
because I'll just move everything.
I know. It's fine. Yes, we're back. We're gonna, review Joker FOLIE DEUX. And I don't know if we want to talk about anything else before that.
The only things I have to talk about are all the bloody deaths that have happened in the past week, and I don't know if I want to talk about them because they make me sad.
I know, they make me sad as well.
I've had a proper good cry about Gavin Creel for the past couple of days, I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh,
that one really sucked. And now Broadway are going, we're going to dim select lights on Broadway, and I'm like, fuck you. I have broken the thing. Just dim all of them for Gavin. I mean, he was amazing. And it was weird because I literally watched him and Aaron Tveit doing In His Eyes the night before. So it kind of threw me through a loop. But what a legacy to have, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody just adored him, and it seems like he was just such a sweet man. Incredible voice.
It's true. Very true.
I'm going to cough.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then, did you see the other stuff that happened around John Amos's death?
No.
He died 45 days ago.
Yes, I knew about that one, yes.
And his family didn't know about it. Nobody contacted them. So they put out this massive statement being like, most of his family were like, we had no idea that he died. We found out when the media found out. Apparently his son has been keeping it. And they basically isolated him from his entire family. It's really awful.
What the fuck?
It's really... I don't know what's going on. It's really fucked up anyway. I don't have any good news. It's my big thing. I'm sure there is good news out there. I just don't have any of it.
Yeah.
To hand.
Don't, let's not forget that the legend that Maggie Smith.
Oh, of course, Maggie Smith passed away, and
also passed away. It's very sad. Very sad indeed. Like 2024 can fuck off.
It's been a rough couple of weeks.
Yeah.
This has been rough.
Yeah.
Though The Legend of Vox Machina came out back yesterday, and that made me very happy.
Yeah.
I'm
unfortunately at the point again where it's very hard for me to watch anything which sucks. Like, I hated that time in my life. Like, it happened this year. So why is it back? I do not understand. But it's back again. And I'm struggling to get through stuff. And not because it's not good or anything. I just start things and I'm like, I can't concentrate. Like I can't pay attention properly, and I'm like turning off things that I thought that I would be like, this is so good. No. That's why it's good that I went to the cinema because I can't turn it off.
Well, this is why I like going to the cinema. It's really because especially when you get into a mood like that where it's like I'm really having trouble staying in like anything, and I'm kind of having that a little bit. Because I'm playing a game and I'm picking up my phone through half of it. I have to stop doing that. It's really bugging me that I keep doing that. Yeah. But when I go to the cinema, you have to turn your phone off.
Exactly.
At least I have to turn my phone off because I'm a
well.
model citizen.
Same here. You all should do it.
Turn your phone off, please. It's 2 hours. If you go into the cinema, you're not going to be looking at your phone anyway for 2 hours. So just turn it off.
Done. That's the deal. That's the deal. But thankfully I didn't have any problems yesterday when I watched Joker FOLIE DEUX. So I was happy about that. This film hit me very hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like not as hard as the first Joker, but still very hard. But we're gonna get into that. So first we're gonna draw conclusions without spoiling anything. So yes, without spoilers, tell me, what did you think of the movie?
I mean, it's been like, I have to do some maths. 3 hours since I came out from the cinema.
Yes.
So I'm still kind of digesting it in a way. I've eaten it and I'm digesting. Oh, you know when you hear it, think of a joke and you're like, I'm going to say it, and then you come out with it and you go, that wasn't funny.
Yeah, I know that one.
I'm fine. Yeah, so I haven't entirely, I haven't entirely digested it properly yet. But how do I put this properly? I'm in a space of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it was like, I liked it, but it was kind of eh. That's sort of where I'm sitting in the middle of it. I liked it more than I liked the first movie, but I also, if I think about it for long enough, I don't think it was as strong as the first movie, which feels like a whole oxymoron thing going on.
It does, yeah.
But I think it goes into that thing I'm always talking about of liking something versus thinking something's good. I don't know if I think that this movie was as tight or strong, technically. No, not technically speaking, because technically it's actually phenomenally gorgeous. But, like, just, like, vibes-wise, I guess. But I liked what it tried to do more, so I'm more ingratiated towards it. Which is a thing with me. I like things that try things and kind of fail a bit at them, but I feel like they tried at least. Famously, I like sort of stuff quite a lot. So the fact that it was a bit almost ingratiated it to me more. And the fact that like so many people that are so mad about it is making me like it more.
Yeah, you kind of were like that, yeah.
I am a creature of spite. Primarily. But yeah, it did a lot of things. Plus, I like musicals, and I think one of the things that people seem to be really getting in their knickers in a twist about is the fact that this movie is in fact a musical. Like, it is a musical. It's just a musical with singers that aren't very good at it, right? I mean, obviously Lady Gaga is an amazing singer, but she very intentionally wasn't singing in like to her max ability in this.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the characters weren't very good singers.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit back in my big musical theatre era, a little bit because of dear old Gavin, but also because I keep listening to Aaron Tveit stuff again, and this happens to me every time I listen to something that Aaron Tveit sings, and I'm like, I love musical theatre, and I must listen to any and all musical theatre possible. I've been listening to a lot of Sweeney Todd in the past few days, which there's crossover there.
Okay, yeah, oh, definitely.
You know what I mean?
I do.
So I liked it, but I don't know if I think it's like, it's not great. It's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
It's not bad. Like I said, technically speaking, like literally on a technical level, it's gorgeous. Like so much of it is so brilliantly shot, and the actors are really good in it. I love the way that Joaquin Phoenix uses his body, and his physicality for the role, this role specifically. I love it when actors are especially interestingly physical with the characters that they portray. And I like, because you mentioned this to me before we started shooting, I actually like what this film, and I feel like it is trying to say something, which is something I didn't feel like the first movie was really. I think it was saying stuff. I don't think it really had like a point to it. Like, I don't think it was like beating you over the head with a message. I think it was presenting a character. But I think the thing that frustrated me about the first movie is the fact that people thought it was like the pinnacle of saying something about like a system and all this sort of stuff, which I never really got the impression of. And I was kind of annoyed in the way that people were really holding it up like it was really trying to say something. This film actually feels like it's trying to say something very specific to me, which I liked about it. I don't know. I'm still wishy-washy about it. You saw it yesterday. You probably have more concrete feelings than I do.
I'm gonna just
as soon as you finish with whatever the fuck you're doing.
It's my article about it. It's still
Okay.
it's still in the editing phase, so it's not out just yet. But I did write my article about it today, and referring back to the first movie,
Oh, I feel
just
like I
so
should mention that I saw the first movie once, and that was 5 years ago when it came out, so I haven't seen it since.
yes,
So that's a good
uh,
point to make.
but I'm gonna quote someone. What this film is a call for kindness and compassion for the mentally ill. What it is not is a boogeyman story of and a cautionary tale of if you are unkind, they will snap and kill you. And that is from Jonathan Decker from Cinematherapy,
Hell yeah.
talking about Joker.
I love Jonathan Decker. Shout out to
Yeah,
Jono.
and for me, because like both movies spoke to me very highly, I do not think that this second movie is as great as the first one was, but both arrived at a time where I could really feel for Arthur and what his story is actually about. The first one was about a very lonely man who went through a lot in his life, and all he wanted was just a tiny bit of kindness from someone, or even love from someone, which he never received. Hence why he created the whole idea of having or just hallucination, if we look at it like that, with Sophie the neighbor, who's played by the fantastic Zazie Beetz. But the second one, I think I understood and felt its message more, and more clearly than I did the first ones, because it was going through the credits, and I was sitting there and I was like, fuck. Fuck, this really hit home, like especially like I'm gonna spoil my entire article basically once we go into the spoiler talk, but there's one scene specifically that hammers in what I think is trying to tell us and show us, and why I think it's actually in its messaging it's much more brilliant than the first one was. But I don't think it's a good movie. I don't think it's a bad movie either. Like it's kind of like on a line where I can see its qualities that could work so well if it was put together just a tad bit differently. But because it's put together like this, like I'm not gonna lie, as much as I love the music in it, I kind of think that yeah, we didn't need this to be a musical. Um, like I have to agree with those people who say that it didn't add too much to it,
I'd
or
agree with that.
anything. Yeah.
I think that the thing that I get stuck up against are the people who are acting like it's the world's worst thing. The fact that it's
No.
a musical,
No.
I'm like, calm down, guys.
Yeah. No. No. Definitely not. Like, and it's the music choices were good. I
Great
like the
music.
music choices, great music, but I just don't like it didn't really add anything. It was more like, we know that Hawking can dance. He already showcased it in the first movie, and now it was like let's show that he can actually sing as well. And I was like, okay, sure. Like probably that's why Lady Gaga is playing Harley Quinn as well. So she's a perfect balance. To Hawking, just like she was for Bradley Cooper in A Star Is Born. So yeah, I don't think it's a very good movie, or even a good movie. It's kind of a in the middle, but the message is fuck you, Todd Phillips. That hit me so hard. I was like, I don't wanna go through this again. But yes, that's the non-spoilery thoughts
Okay.
I have on
Because
it.
because I would like to get into spoilery things now because
Yes,
I can't talk about the rest of the movie properly without
yes,
like talking about spoilery stuff. So if you're here and you haven't seen the movie yet, or you're listening to it, you should go see the movie because we're gonna spoil, or don't. You don't have to, but we are gonna
you don't
spoil
have
it
to.
now. It's up to
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
So there's your warning. Um, okay. Where do I start with this? My first thought as I was watching the film, watching his defense lawyer come in and try to make this case that he was like, tried to make this DID case, basically. They call it multiple personality disorder, which made me flinch, but then I was like, this is kind of a period piece. We're in like, what, the 70s, 60s or something like that. It's not really clear, but it's clear. They suggest that this is the first televised courtroom case. So we're in somewhere early on in Gotham, in terms of technology and all of you see everything's very retro and all that sort of stuff. But so the terminology I can forgive not being entirely correct, but I was sitting there like, all right, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to have this fucking like, oh, he's got an evil personality, he goes around killing people, and also like that kind of a vibe. I mean, it pisses me off generally speaking because that's not how DID works. As much as like all the stuff around him going through that much childhood trauma has given birth to people who have DID. DID is not a violent disorder. It requires people to be more. It ends up with people with DID being more violent towards themselves than other people. It's just not the way it goes. And the fact that we have it as a trope is so often perpetrated throughout media is annoying because it demonizes a whole group of people who really just need help. But what I liked about the movie is that it basically goes. It's like this. How do I put this properly? I'm going in a bunch of different directions. For me, the movie is about a bunch of people wanting Arthur to be something that he isn't, and nobody actually looking at him as the person that he is. So you've got his defense attorney trying to basically like forgive him in a weird way for his crimes because he was sick, and then all the other people being like, well, no, because he is this person, he's the Joker, and he's terrible, and he's a murderer, and all this sort of stuff, and nobody is giving any space to the nuance in between any of these spaces where it goes, no, he was fully cognizant of what he was doing, he still deserves help. And it was like, what I liked about what I got to a point of liking was like, oh, these people, the other side is very obvious to me. So it didn't really hit in any particular way to have him be held up in a specific vibe in the people who wanted him to be Joker. It was the fact that like his defense team was basically there trying to make it, because I think this is the other side of things where people are like, especially in like you see in like young men who shoot up schools, where they're like, oh, he's got a mental illness, we shouldn't be too hard on him and all this sort of stuff. He needs, all this sort of stuff. And it's like, yeah, people deserve help. Doesn't stop him from having been the one who committed the crimes. I think the only person who actually kind of saw Arthur as he should have been was kind of the prosecution. I think it was Harvey Dent and his lot, who were like more aggressive about it. But I think they sum him up very well in the fact that he was fully cognizant of what he was doing, and the fact that I'm trailing off a bit because again, it's been 3 hours, so I haven't put all this together properly in my brain so much yet. But like in that sense of like, he did those things. It wasn't like, you can't try and take the energy out of the fact that he committed violent crimes. Yes, he's not well. Those two things shouldn't cancel each other out, right? When what I think that I liked the most about the film was the fact, and I think this is the thing that's been pissing people off the most, which is really funny to me. He's not the Joker. He's not the Joker. No. He's just the guy that everybody really wanted to be something else. And he wasn't. Which is very sad.
Yeah.
It actually makes me like him a bit more in a strange way. Yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling. Your rebuttal, counsel.
Yeah. So this could have easily been just the usual court drama where, you know, on his side, everyone is like, you are sick. We're gonna build the whole defense on you having like multiple personalities, and you just have to sell this whole story. Like literally, his lawyer is there to be like, just say you don't remember, just say you were in the dark when these things happened and
Especially
whatnot.
that scene with the psychiatrist where she's
Yeah,
there
yeah, yeah.
basically feeding him all the
Just feeding
lines.
him. Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, that's
Exactly.
okay, calm down. This is not
Yeah.
therapy.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, that's one side, and then there's the other end of this blade where Harvey Dent is like, he's a monster. Like he was fully conscious. He's completely dismissing the whole like he went through trauma in his life, and you know, especially in his childhood, and it could have any kind of effect. He's just a monster. Done. Bad person. Done. 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 Like his entire shtick is that. And then there's the most important addition, and the voice of the many in Harley Quinn, who's like, you're not Arthur Fleck, you're the Joker, and that's the only reason I am drawn to you, because you know you embody everything that I think is madness itself, and whatever. But and that's what I, because I agree with you fully, that no one saw Arthur for the real, his real self. And I think this movie, and I wrote it in my article as well, and this is like, even the title is this, so it's, I'm not giving too much away. It's the perfect metaphor for not feeling good enough or never being good enough for others in your head, but it is embodied through people, because there are two scenes, and one of them is Gary Puddles when he is summoned to the witness stand. That scene broke me, because that's the scene where, you know, Arthur is not Joker. He's playing this persona that everyone seems to be obsessed with, especially Harley, because obviously he's now doing everything for Harley, because she's the only one who he feels like she gave her that love that gave him that love that he always wanted. And first he's trying to make fun of Gary. He's trying to be the funny man, the Joker, the chaos itself, the madness, whatever people expect from him. And I love the scene because through it all, Gary is just so honest about, like, you know, you're not this person, and I don't know what happened to you. And especially when he's like, okay, I'm done with the questioning, and Gary goes like, you were the only one who was ever kind to me and who never made fun of me, and I don't know what happened to you. And you see that is the moment that breaks through this whole, like, maybe this was the only person who ever saw me as me. Like there's this moment in Arthur's face, and I think Hawken did such a good job with it, where he's like, you know, he's near tears as well, and he's like, I hurt this person, even though I let him go and I spared his life and whatever, but I gave him a lifelong trauma by killing someone in front of him. And Gary was also the only kind person in his life, if we look at the entire big picture of Arthur's story. And that scene is just so beautifully done. Especially, I really like that they made the decision that when Gary leaves, they leave the camera on him, and they only show him and as he leaves, and you can see that he is still crying and it's still really much affecting him. And then the other scene that was very important, and I think that's where this never feeling good enough for anyone and going through that thought process really comes through and becomes more clear, is when Sophie is on the stand, and you know, we get the whole Joker song afterwards, when she explains that you know, Arthur's own mother basically put this idea in his head that he's going to be a joker one, but well, he's going to be a comedian one day and he can make everyone laugh, even though she never believed that her own son had a good sense of humor, or he could deliver jokes and whatnot. And I think these two scenes in particular are so important in his story, and that's where both of the big breaks happen, because with Sophie, that's when he decides that I'm gonna fire my lawyer, I'm the Joker, Harley is right, I'm this awful person who kills people and blah blah blah. And then Gary is the one that turns it around. And I think the third, not as strong but still very important part of this is when he gives his final speech, and he says, like, I did it, yeah, I killed 5 people, but actually I killed 6 people because you guys didn't know, but I also killed my mother. And then Harley just stands up and leaves, and that's I think where this whole, like, I'm not good enough kind of thing comes around, because now we saw all the sides where no one understands, like, who Arthur is, because everyone tries to put something on him that is not really there. He was, I think, what was important in the first movie comes through so much more here, that he always was a very lonely person who just needed some kindness in his life, because that's what, and he just wanted to make people happy.
As much, I do agree, but I also feel like you're kind of, there is a simplification a little bit going on here. If I may disagree with you slightly, because I think in many ways you are correct. I would counter a little bit with the very, I think if you narrow it down to just he needed a bit of kindness, I think the trouble wasn't that he had no kindness, because there were moments of where people, especially Gary specifically.
Yeah.
I think the trouble was more that it came, he was words. It is a perfect tragedy in that he was doomed from the beginning because there was so much against him. It wasn't just that he had needed a bit of kindness, it's that he was born in this place that had no space for somebody like him who needed a lot of support, like way more support than was being given in any way, shape or form. But I think also if we look at it too hard on the he's just a real guy sort of side of things. I'm making a joke, but like if we woobify him a little bit too much, we take away from the fact that he was still responsible for the pain that he caused other people, right?
Yeah, but I'm not, like, yes, that's very much true.
And I'm more bringing it up to just give a more rounded view of the character, because I think what this film does is add those dimensions to what we had given to him before, which I think is a much more big picture. It's a much kinder way to look at somebody, is to see him in his entirety, which was troubled, dangerous, and also should have been helped earlier. Because at the point that we saw him, there was no getting him back, right? It was like he was not going to get to a place where he was going to be redeemed. He was not going to. What I think was interesting, but what I think was interesting, and one of the things, the moment that I actually think was the true breaking point, and I'm surprised you didn't bring it up, is the moment where he gets back after he's done his whole, like, because I don't think he does change his mind entirely in the moment where he realizes how much he's, like, hurt Gary. I think that comes home when he goes back and he's assaulted by the guards at Arkham, and Ricky dies because of him. I think he suddenly realizes that how much he's been thrust into a place of influence that he never wanted, and that, like, and I think it's the point where he diverges from the place where people thought he was the Joker, and where he was actually just this man, because he feels a whole lot of guilt, because Ricky was just a guy as well. Ricky in many ways was just him. And
Yeah.
I think he realized that, like, it was because of his sort of, boisterousness that he got somebody else. I mean, Ricky died because of him, because he riled
Yeah.
them up in that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the whole thing, Arthur never should have been in the public eye. I think that's the really, really big part of it for me. Is like he should have never been anywhere close to the status that he was. He was not the guy who should have been in the spotlight. He was never, because he was never the Joker.
No, no, he's not the Joker. And he's just a man who was like, he did one thing that riled up people, and in an already very disturbed place, because it already had many problems, and he did the one thing that it looked like people needed, and everyone just or most of the people right
They
behind
fed
him.
his ego, which he didn't
Yeah.
need.
Which he didn't need, but also it could feed his ego, because again, the entire first movie is about this, that he just wants like some positive attention, and he falsely believes that once he kills Murray and gets on the street and all those people around him are in Joker mask and whatever, that's what I've been waiting for my whole life. That's when that beautifully shot scene happens, where he's like on top of the police car and just puts on the smile again, and I'm like, oh, yeah. That's
Buddy, no.
no, that's not what you need.
It's like he should have been. This man should have been in a really quiet little house out where it's like pretty, and he got to, like, I don't know. He had like regular people who saw him and were like, "Hey man, how you doing?" I don't think he needed anything more. I don't even think he needed, like, I think he was too fragile of a place to have like truly a normal relationship with a lot of people. But just like everyday interactions should have been nicer.
Yeah.
And he should have had a really good therapist who, led him to a place of... I think he was a very solitary creature who thought that he wanted a different kind of interaction from people than actually what he needed. I'm not saying he needed to be entirely isolated, because nobody needs that, but like,
No,
I don't think he needed... I don't think he actually needed that much from other people. And then when he got more in like the really extreme and toxic version of it, he was like, "Oh, this is the thing. I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna gorge myself on all this attention." And then the moment it started poisoning him in a way that he was like, "Oh no, I don't. This is not what I want in any way, shape, or form. I want to be seen." It's not even like he was asking to be held accountable. He just wanted to be seen as he was, which I think is the thing that's really sad.
Yeah. Yeah, it truly is, like, and the whole thing is, again, in the Sophie scene, when she talks about his mom telling all those things, that it's everything comes from the mother, who first of all, she let the boyfriends abuse him when he was very young, as it is now. It gets a bigger spotlight in this movie, because it is in the first one as well, but never, it just touched upon, basically. And then the whole, like, she was the one who put the idea in his head that one day he can be a comedian and he can bring joy that way. And I think it all boils down to, that in his head, that's how he could be perfect for everyone. And that's why he could believe that, very falsely, that, now that people were, coming and screaming his name, the Joker, that's all he needed. And then, yeah, this movie perfectly just lies the whole thing up and is like, no, it's not what you needed.
I think it's as close to as like a good response as you can get from the first movie, because of the way that people reacted to the first movie. To be able to turn around and go, "No, we're not doing this," and kind of blow the whole thing up,
Yeah.
honestly is the thing that I really liked about it. Because
Yeah.
I think anything else would have been feeding the people who entirely took the wrong idea from the first movie, and is what part of the reason why I think it's so funny the way that people are getting so mad about it. Where I'm like, oh guys.
But also, if you get mad about that, you don't understand this movie. Or
well, that's the thing. It's because they
one.
didn't understand the first one in the first place,
Yeah,
which is
obviously.
the thing that is making I'm finding very entertaining.
Yeah, I know. It's funny to watch, but I think what the other thing this movie does very well is actually setting up
A real Joker.
coming of the real Joker. Yeah,
I really liked it. I was watching it like, this is smart. I like this because it's somebody who's like obviously been inspired by the things that he didn't want to be and gone, you kind of, you fucked this, my guy. How dare you? And like, it's that. Like I really liked that entire last scene because I could see exactly where it was going the moment it started.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, okay. I honestly, and I liked it so much more because I got worried at one point. The moment in the visitation scene where she comes to see him and he's like, you've been lying to me and all this sort of stuff, and she tells him she's pregnant.
Yes.
The version, like the actual Joker. Because I didn't realize we were getting to a place where they were gonna completely throw out the idea that he was actually the Joker. I had this flash of like, I know who the Joker is in the comics. I know what he's like to Harley. I thought he was gonna kill her at the end of it.
Yeah.
I really thought that she was gonna tell him that she lied about the pregnancy, and that he was gonna murder her. And the fact that it went the other way on it because he wasn't that guy, I was like, I kind of had to go, oh thank fuck, because I really didn't want, because I think that's the version of the movie that the people who are annoyed about the end of this movie wanted, and I'm really glad it wasn't that. It was the big thing for me, because the version of the Joker that we have now at the end, the kind of set up here, that version of Joker would push Harley down the stairs, which is where my brain was going when he went up those stairs. I thought he was going to push her down those stairs.
Same. I thought the same thing. Yeah. I was ready. I was
like, I really don't want to watch this, but okay.
Yeah.
I was like, thank God we didn't do that. I think the thing that is making me happy is that it did so many things I didn't want. It subverted so many things that I really didn't want it to do. I was like, oh, okay. Kind of made me breathe out a little bit. But I can also see exactly why people who really wanted him to be a certain version of this character didn't like those deviations. Yeah. I don't agree with them, and I think it's funny that they're mad about it, but I can... it's like I can see exactly where people thought, because it's where I thought the movie was going, but on my part, I was holding my breath because I didn't want that. And the fact that it didn't do it made me go, oh, okay, this is a better movie than I thought it was going to be.
It is... it is also funny to me because this movie is also the perfect example of why we are getting movies now that literally tell you everything step by step because people otherwise don't understand what's going on. Like, for what The Boys season 4 was criticized about, like they literally just went like, you guys didn't fucking understand, so we're gonna, hammer it in. And this movie, because they're like, understand the subtext, please, and understand what's going on. And so many people going mad about
what I think I like about this movie, in comparison to some of the ways that I wasn't a fan of the way that The Boys were doing it, is because I still think this movie managed to be subtle enough. Didn't feel like it was hitting you over the head with anything.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's why it's very funny to me, because people don't understand it because it's subtle. It's like and I think if Todd Phillips would have decided that, okay, now we have to do it in a way where people will understand what we're trying to say, everyone would be much calmer about it. Like the Rotten Tomatoes score I find incredibly ridiculous. It is like giving it I think it's at 39% at this point, which is like it's not that bad. Like it's not even close to that number. I think it should be like somewhere at least around 60 or 65.
I would put it base 70. Like, base.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's really becoming a problem that when movies and TV shows are subtle about their messages, so many people don't understand it at this point. And
The death of media literacy.
yeah, yeah, literally. Like I'm like, God, because this was, I don't know. I thought that it was so loud and clear.
It
Like
was
for
very
me,
clear to me. I thought this movie was so much more clear than the first one was, personally. Because I felt like the first one, yeah, again, I just didn't feel like the first one was really trying to push a message,
yeah,
personally. This one was trying to push a message, but I feel like it wasn't going overboard with it. I at no point
yeah,
felt
no,
like
no,
it was
no,
really the
no.
only issues, like really big issues I actually have with the film is that I think it's too long. I think it's way
It
too
is too
fucking long.
Yeah, yeah.
It drags in places where you're like, we could have done this in like half the time and gotten the same place. Just like some of the scenes could have been done in half the
Yeah,
time. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
truncate it to a place of like, it didn't need to be, what was it, like 2.5 hours long or something stupid like that.
I don't think it was that long. Sorry, it was a long day. It was 2 hours 15 or something. So it
Okay.
wasn't that long.
It just felt very long, though, was the
Yeah,
thing. And it instead of feeling like a mood piece as much as this one had more plot, I think, in comparison to the first one. So the fact that the plot started moving at such a at times at such a glacial place, I was like, okay, well, can we just get on with this a little bit, please? I absolutely can understand why people are like, the music didn't add anything to it. I think if the music had been used less, it would have been more effective, because I could see what it was used for. It was like
yeah,
it was a framing device to show a sense of fantasy that was being
yeah,
used,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
as evidenced by the fact when he turns to her at the end, he's like, I don't want.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't want. I want to
don't
stop
want you.
singing. I
Yeah,
don't want to.
yeah,
And
yeah,
she's like, "Well, you gave up on the fantasy, and I'm done with you now."
yeah,
I liked that. I liked that. I think that was a good point. But I think the fact that, yeah, it was being used so much that it was a little bit like, okay, we don't need to do this nearly as much. There's
yeah,
nobody like, and I think it's honestly kind of funny because that's the way that people feel about most musicals.
yeah,
To me,
yeah.
it's like, because people are like, oh, I don't like the fact that they just walk into a room and they just start singing, and I'm like, have a bit of whimsy.
But honestly, just like plain honest, if we look at the Joker character, who's like crazy, let's be fair, it makes so much sense that he imagines singing. And you know, like if it makes sense anywhere that there's a guy or a girl who's like, I'm imagining singing randomly, that's Joker. That's literally like, I truly believe that if anyone
He's
would, that would be Joker.
always been a theatrical character. Like
Yeah,
he does theatrics he enjoys theatrics.
yes,
And it really what the is, and it's not. And we're saying that even though even though Arthur wasn't actually the Joker, which is what I actually, one of the many reasons I really like the reveal at the end, because we
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know the guy who kills him. We don't know his name. We don't
We
know
don't
the
know
Joker's
anything.
actual name.
No,
That's
no.
kind of and that was part of, like, I think it was one of the issues that people had with the first movie initially, where they were like, well, they're giving the Joker a backstory. The Joker's not meant to have a backstory, and I'm like, well, now he doesn't, and you're mad about it? You
Yeah,
fucking hypocrite.
hypocrites. But I will also say that out of all the songs, as much as I love this kind of music, so it's like,
It's some of my favorite stuff.
yes, but the best choice was the Joker song in the courtroom, when he, you know, starts imagining killing Harvey Dent and everyone, and sings "The Joker Is Me."
Oh, yeah.
That was
That's good
that
stuff.
was a
It's one of the ones I
brilliant
didn't
choice.
know.
You didn't know that
I
one?
didn't know that one. But I was like, this is very thematically
Yeah,
appropriate.
yeah.
Because I've had oh, what's it called? Hang on, I need to get the name of it. Forget your troubles, go on, get happy. That's been it.
That's it. Get happy.
Yeah, get happy. It's
Yeah,
been in my head
yeah,
for days.
yep,
And it's Julie Garland. What more do you want?
yeah. I was kind of hoping. I'm not gonna lie. For the end credits, I was hoping for "Smile though your heart is aching." Like it would have fitted this so well. Like they did a version of it in the movie, but I like my melancholic soul needed more.
Check. I love. Hang on. I'm looking up the songs because I
Yeah.
want to know what they are. Have you listened to Lady Gaga's album.
Of course.
I've not listened to it yet. Is it good? I've heard
It
it's
is
fun
very good.
because I watched
It's very
her
good.
on Graham Norton the other
Jimmy.
day.
Oh.
No, I watched her on Graham Norton because Colin Farrell was also on
Yeah,
Graham
yeah, yeah,
Norton,
yeah.
so I
It
was
was
like,
very good.
I'm gonna.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
cute. I love the fact that she kept turning to people and asking them questions. It was
yeah.
because she looked so uncomfortable answering her own questions, but then she'd turn around and be like, "Hey, let's talk about you." It's
Yeah.
sweet. But the way that Graham described it, it sounds like it's a great,
It is
really
good.
fun album.
And she does sing "Smile,"
Mm.
which made me very happy because it's one of my favorite songs of all time.
One of the songs on this was in the movie was written by her because I saw it
Yes.
in the. It's called "FOLIE." It's right there.
Yeah, that's the one.
Because I saw it in the credits and I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs in here that I enjoyed massively.
Mountain was good.
For Once in My Life
Yeah.
is one of I love that song. I loved the use of That's Entertainment. I kind of didn't recognize it properly because it was so slowed down.
Same. Yeah.
And then I saw it in the credits and suddenly I was like, oh, I can hear it now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. There were some very good choices there.
Yeah, there's lots of great
Yeah.
songs that I really, really liked. Should we talk a little bit more about Lee? Because I don't think we've really touched on it that much yet.
I would like to say that that's my biggest problem because I think they once again underused Lady Gaga. Like, yeah, I think first of all the character itself beautifully done. Like I really really enjoyed what she was doing. Like this is where I say that instead of the songs, I wish they would have showed more about her. Like, especially because they only just mention it that she's going around when she's out and she's going around talking to the media and talking about their big love and whatever. Like, and we only get like a tiny glimpse of her breaking in that TV shop's window, and that's it. So we don't really get her outside of the interactions with Joker or Arthur. So I was like, I felt like that the idea behind her was very good, and we didn't get to experience as much of it as I think this movie would have needed.
I think it's that trouble. It's that age. I was gonna say age old, but for me, it's an age old like struggle with a movie that's centered around a specific person that brings in another person to kind of bolster that story. Is that when you have that second person and they're really interesting, you want to know more about them, and the necessity of the storytelling dictates that they are not as fleshed out within the narrative, because at that point you start splitting focus and it can make a film seem unfocused. But there were all seeds in there that made her way more interesting than what was going on in half the movie, which was came to trouble. Especially when they kind of quietly highlighted just how fucking smart she is, because that's one of the fun things about Harley Quinn as a character anyway, is that she was a psychologist and she is extremely smart, and she has a PhD and all of these things. Especially, it just made it seem like, I don't know, I was kind of hoping that there would be a turn, because I think they kind of hinted at it, but they didn't really go for it that much. That there would be a turn where she was trying to turn him into something as like a pet project as opposed to a love story. Because I think it's kind of hinted at, but I don't think, like you say, it's not really dug into at all. Because she's clearly trying to manipulate him in certain ways, and all this sort of stuff. But I think that they try to fall back on this idea that she actually does like care about him in some way, but that love is conditional.
I don't agree. I think the whole point of her was that she doesn't need Arthur. That's like, drop that. You're the Joker, done, and that's why she leaves the court.
That's what I mean about her love being specifically conditional. But I think that what would have been more interesting to me if she didn't love him at all. Like, it didn't love any facet
I don't think she loved him.
I think she loved the Joker. I think that was what they were trying to suggest.
Yeah.
But I would have been more interested if she didn't love the Joker. She just wanted to see if she could make the Joker. Because that makes her more interesting to me.
Yeah.
That she saw this guy and went, I wanna fucking get in here and like play, a bit. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. I think there was more. But I think it also opens up the door if they wanted to make a movie in this style about her, it's there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like you've got them.
Honestly, as much as because I wrote in my article about that, I don't think Joker needed a follow-up movie. That's where I'm at with the original. I don't mind that this movie exists at all. But this also gives... this is where I will say that Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn would definitely deserve her own movie. And I would be very much interested to see like what they would do to her in her own movie.
I kind of would want it to be the inverse of what this movie was. Yeah. Instead of like, because this is obviously the descent or like the sort of failings of a very sad man. I'd want to see a Quinzel movie where she became empowered, honestly, where we got to see her actually have like true machinations and be genuinely quite evil. I think that would be more I think that's the more fun thing to look at here. Of being like, here is a woman who is entirely unhinged and we're going to let her be unhinged kind of unapologetically. That'd be the version of the movie that I'd want to see anyway. Because like, I like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, and I like but I liked Birds of Prey, but that movie kind of did that thing that we've been doing for Harley for a while to kind of make her into like almost an anti-hero as opposed to which, you know, it is a great place for that, for Harley as a character to go, and I think deserved that space to be like, she's, you know, she only was as terrible as the Joker was kind of making her into. I would like to go and take that and go, okay, we've got that version, but now we're going to go over here and do this version where she's just batshit.
I think they could do that with Gaga's Harley Quinn. Definitely, that's a very big potential there, and I kind of hope that they're going to take that opportunity.
I'd be down for it.
Oh, 100%.
The scene, I think the one thing that I felt was actually slightly out of place in this movie, just like as a plot point, but I could see why they did it, I just don't think that they implemented it particularly well, was the explosion at the courthouse. Because I think that's the moment for me that the movie turned from Joker property into, like, as in, this is a sequel to the previous movie, to, this is a comic book movie. Because in that moment I was like, oh, because you needed to fuck up Harvey Dent's face, this is the exact reason that you're doing it. Because it kind of comes out of fucking nowhere. And you're kind of like, okay. And then you cut over to, there's Harvey on the floor. He doesn't look, not really looking as fucked up as he should do, considering his entire face is meant to be scarred. But I digress. But I was sitting there like, this is a comic book movie. And for me, not the end of the world, but it made, because I came out of the original Joker movie being like, that was depressing. Because it created such a vibe that I came out and I was like, all right, I'm going to sit with this one for a bit. That scene almost took I mean, I wasn't really having that vibe for most of the rest of the movie anyway, but that scene killed any hope of that vibe being created by the end of the film for me. And went, oh, this is a comic book movie, we're in Gotham.
We are
in Gotham. This is a Batman film. Which, again, is not the end of the world. I just thought it was like, okay, we've hit a point where we can no longer ignore the fact that we are in a DC property film. I don't know.
But it's not, it's not overwhelming.
No, like, it's not.
But I understand what you mean.
It just, it was like a, what's the word I'm looking for? was like a curtain moment where it was like, we're just gonna, this bit from the rest of it will separate the film in many ways, shape or form. I almost feel like, I understand exactly why they put it in there, and I can see what they did with, like, narratively, because they needed him to go find Lee and all that sort of stuff. But there's almost a part of me that kind of wishes that he'd just gotten sentenced and it wasn't an explosive thing. Like, there was no power underneath it. But of course, because it's Gotham, somebody of course is going to blow up a building because it's Gotham. And people blow up buildings in Gotham quite a lot.
Exactly. That's the
living in Gotham sucks.
Yes, it does. Move away, please. Yeah.
Insurance in Gotham, terrible.
Terrible, just awful. Just awful. All right. How would you rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
How would I rate the movie? God almighty. Good question. I think, God, it's a hard question because I don't know if I want to go as high as a 7. But
Should
a 6 feels almost. I'm going to put it as a 6.5. But even that feels. I think. No, I think that feels right. 6.5. Okay. Let's say that.
I'm giving it a 5.
Oh wow!
Like it's right on the.
Really, I don't think you've ever given anything that middling before, because you're usually really high up there. Even when you don't like the thing that much, you're usually quite.
Yeah. No, it's hard to explain because now again, it's not a bad movie by any means. That message really got to me and it really hit me. And the cast is fucking fantastic. Like, once again, Joaquin Phoenix is just beautiful. Lady Gaga, I think, once and for all proved that she's very good, and there's no denying it. And then we also got like Brandon Gleeson, who's always great. And like literally the tiniest roles were good in it. The cinematography is just awesome.
The lighting in this movie, astonishing. Also, honestly, slightly terrible the way that they made smoking look cool.
Yeah. I know.
It's like you shouldn't be doing that, but at the same time, damn, it looks good on camera.
It looks good. It looks good. We can't deny that. So, like, I just feel like, how to put this? I give it a 5. Not because I was expecting something else, because I don't think I was. Like, I was in this space where I was like, I didn't even think that Joker necessarily needed a second movie. So I wasn't expecting anything. And I admitted when they announced Lady Gaga that I am only excited because I love Lady Gaga and I want to see her as Harley Quinn. But I don't know how to explain it, how I feel about this movie, where I'm like, I'm almost 100% certain I'm not going to watch it again. And given that I saw the first movie so many times, I think that says it all at the end of the day. But I still think it is definitely worth the watch. And it definitely does not deserve that very harsh, downgrading that it's getting, because let's not put it into like down where movies like the 600 Transformers and Fast and Furious and whatnot is sitting.
I've heard that new Transformers movie is very good.
Yeah, I heard that too. It is also animated, so but it is not bad. It's not a bad movie. I think it's like somewhere in the middle. That's why it gets a 5.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Sean put a joke in the chat. Do you want to hear it?
Yes, please. I love jokes.
Because he said, best Joker joke. Mine is, Robin walks into a bar. Bartender says, you can't come in here with this crow... Hang on. I need to read this bit again. Robin walks into a bar. Bartender says, you can't come in here. This is a crowbar. And he beats him to death. Always good. Crowbar.
I like
I
that.
admit that I kind of fucked up the execution of that. I probably should have read it a couple of times
No.
beforehand. I'm not good at sight reading, but there you go.
It was still good. It was still good. I appreciate it.
I don't have any
Thank you,
Joker
Sean.
jokes.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I
Sean.
don't either. But that was good. That was good. I appreciated it. All right. We discussed Joker.
We did.
I don't know what we're doing next week. Are we doing something next week? I don't
Well,
remember.
we've got something lined up a little bit on Monday that
that's true.
might come out I think probably will come out the week after on Friday, just to give me a bit of time to edit it, because I don't think we're doing anything for next week. We need something for next Friday. I'm going to be a bit busy to do a live stream, so actually will be recorded and edited and put out. I think will probably be the best thing to do for that. And then November is chock full of shit. I can't remember all of the things in what order that we said we were going to do them in.
I know that we have to change Arcane because
actually, Arcane is going exactly where I thought it was going to go, which is at the end of the month. Which is great for me, because I kind of had mostly put this together and then they pushed it to the end of the month, and I went, this works way better than what I was expecting. I'm going to see if I can find the messages that we were making about it.
You didn't pin it, so
I did not pin it, which is why I'm doing some scrolling. Next couple of weeks from now, I am going to see a bunch of movies at London Film Festival, which I would have liked to have talked about, but I just am not. I'm going to one on the Friday, and I don't think I'll be back in time to do a live episode about it. And I'm going out. I'm going to celebrate a friend's birthday the day after, so I think we'll try and put out this interview. We're going to be up early for it. Okay, here's what I've got. Oh yeah, okay, I got it. I'm so sorry.
Bless you.
I needed to do that one. 1st of November, Legend of Vox Machina. Very important to me. This one's for me, personally. I'm already having a great time. They've put some stuff in there based around some other stuff that's happened in other campaigns and like short form stuff. Very excited about. It's going to be great. It will not be... What's the word I'm looking for? Objective in any way, shape, or form. It's just going to be a lot of me gushing, I have a feeling. Alas. 8th of November, we're talking about Venom. It'll be a couple of weeks out from when the movie comes out, because I want to talk about The Legend of Vox Machina first. And I'm not sorry about it. But it will be in time. 15th of November, we've got The Penguin.
Yes.
I haven't watched the first couple of episodes yet, but I will get to it. Oh, yeah, we haven't put in Agatha anywhere.
No.
Fuck.
And we have to. Yeah.
I haven't figured that out. It'll be in there somewhere. But the week after that should be the end of Arcane. So, because that's the 23rd.
Yes. Is it? They put it out like, how...
22nd.
Yes. Okay,
So,
there you go.
I think... Then again, I think it's at... Hang on, Arcane Season 2. I need to see all the release dates. Yeah, no, the last sort of episodes are on the 23rd, so we'll have to do it the week after. Which is the 23rd, which is the Saturday. So we'll have to do it on the 29th. So we could push... I don't know when the last episode of Agatha is.
After I don't know.
I realize we're doing this on air. We could do this afterwards, but you get to hear this now.
Yes.
It's on the 30th. I don't really want to push anything else up. We'll figure it out. It'll either be in that week, or we'll push everything one week. But I kind of don't want to do that. It's the trouble.
We'll figure it out. It's fine.
We will figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't need your nails.
I'm not. I'm just gonna vague. I'm not biting them. They're just there.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm done. Let's stop talking about it and go.
Yes, let's go. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming and listening. And you will be able to find this as a podcast. Hopefully, it's not going to be an asshole.
We haven't figured out why it's been a little bitch. I think maybe
they never answered.
They didn't answer. Okay, and you haven't tried it again since.
I did.
Oh,
and they didn't answer.
No, I mean tried uploading it again since.
Oh no. No.
Maybe give it another go just to see if it's decided to stop being a little bitch. But hopefully, I'm so sorry.
Bless you.
But hopefully, this will be out as a podcast tomorrow. That'll be the 5th. And then, yeah, a couple of weeks' time, we should have like a little interview for you, which I'm going to have to put together. We have to get up really early for it because they're Australian.
Yeah.
As a little tease.
As a little tease.
As a little
and
tease.
there's
There's multiple
more
of
coming.
them.
Yes.
But we're going to try and do this one for
Yes.
now, and hopefully it'll be. I'm hoping it'll be a fun chat. I've been told
It
they're
will
very
be.
excited, so it should be good.
Exciting.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that's it.
That's it.
Done.
Watch movies.
Watch
And,
movies.
We're going to be back soonish. So take care.
We've got a bunch
until
of stuff
then.
coming up in
Yep.
November, a little bit into December, because I think
Yes.
at some point we're going to want to talk about Gladiator as well.
And Wicked.
And Wicked, but Wicked will definitely be in December. I'll
No,
put
Wicked and Gladiator come out on the same day. So it's going to be the Wickedator.
Wicked is in December.
No, it's in November.
Mm.
It's the second Barbenheimer coming.
Oh, it's right at the end of November. Why did I think
Yeah.
it was December? I think it was meant to be December.
It meant to be, but they brought it back a week, and now it's coming out with Gladiator.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Why are they doing this to me?
So we have to watch 2 movies and talk about 2 movies. Like we did with Barbenheimer, because it's the second coming.
Anyway, we'll probably do this the first week of December. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Or we'll split it up and we'll do one week and one the next week. Because fuck
Yes.
knows. But also into the new year, I would quite like to talk about Nosferatu because they put a trailer on for it in the cinema today, and I think it looks really good.
We can, but
Maybe if it turns out to be good, I'm just putting it out there.
But we all know that the new year is gonna.
We're gonna be starting with Squid Game. Yeah,
Yes, there you go. All right, that was us.
I'll
Take
stop
care.
talking
Watch
about
movies.
scheduling.
Yeah, it's fine. And cut the check.
And I'm switching back to the introduction thing. Goodbye.
Bye.